The rain hammered the windshield like fists of judgment, turning the narrow country road into a river of regret. Jackson's hands gripped the steering wheel so tight his knuckles bleached white, his breath ragged sobs that fogged the glass. "You're dead to us." His father's voice echoed in his skull, the last words hurled like a curse before the front door slammed shut on everything he'd ever called home. In that split second, the deer leaped from the shadows, a ghost in the storm, and Jackson swerved, the world exploding into a symphony of screeching tires and shattering glass. The Ford pickup flipped once, twice, embedding its crumpled nose into the ditch like a discarded confession. Jackson's world inverted, pain blooming sharp and hot across his ribs, but it was the cold seep of blood from his temple that pulled him under first. The last coherent thought before blackness claimed him was Liam's face, those steady green eyes, the crooked smile that had whispered promises in the dim light of motel rooms from Kansas City to the backroads of nowhere. When awareness clawed its way back, it came with the sting of antiseptic and the low beep of monitors. Jackson blinked against the fluorescent glare of the ER at St. Mary's in Des Moines, his body a map of aches pinned to the starched sheets. Tubes snaked from his arm, delivering fluids that tasted like copper on his tongue. He tried to sit up, but a firm hand pressed him down. "Easy there, cowboy. You've got a cracked rib and a concussion that'd make a linebacker weep. Stay put." That voice, gravelly, laced with that faint Texas drawl, hit Jackson like a lifeline tossed into a riptide. "Liam." He turned his head, ignoring the spike of pain, and there he was, broad-shouldered, stubble shadowing a jaw that could cut glass. His fire department hoodie stretched taut over muscles earned from hauling hoses and hauling hearts. Liam's eyes, those damn eyes, held a storm of relief and something fiercer, unspoken. You found me?" Jackson croaked, his throat raw as if he'd swallowed the gravel from the road. Liam's thumb brushed Jackson's knuckles, a touch so light it might have been imagined. "Dispatch called it in. Off duty. But hell if I was gonna let some storm steal you away." He leaned closer, voice dropping to a murmur. "Scared the shit out of me, Jack. Thought I'd lost you before I even got to say it proper." "Say what?" The question hung unspoken, heavy as the Ford drip. They'd danced around it for months, this thing between them, born in the sticky heat of a dive bar in Omaha, where Jackson had nursed a beer and a grudge against the world. Liam had slid onto the stool beside him, smelling of smoke and pine, and asked, "You look like a man carrying the weight of the whole damn prairie. Wanna share the load?" One conversation turned into two, then nights tangled in sheets that smelled of cheap laundry detergent and possibility. Liam, 32 to Jackson's 25, was a transplant from Austin, chasing ghosts of his own, a brother lost to the wildfires down south, a career in firefighting that patched the hollows but never filled them. Jackson was running from a family farm in rural Iowa, where cornfields whispered secrets and Sundays meant sermons that branded him sinner before he even knew what desire felt like. But love? That word had always been a foreign country. One Jackson's father, Harlan, declared off limits. "Boys don't love boys, son. That's the devil's lie, and you'll burn for it." Harlan's Bible-thumping righteousness had cracked the family wide open when Jackson came out at 19, fresh from a fumbling kiss behind the grain silo with a farmhand who'd vanished by dawn. His mother, Evelyn, had wept silent tears. His sister Clara had hugged him fierce before whispering apologies. But Harlan had drawn the line in the Iowa clay and dared Jackson to cross it again. He'd left that night, backpack slung over one shoulder, hitchhiking west with dreams of city lights and anonymity. Cities swallowed him whole, waitressing gigs in Denver, bartending in Wichita, but the ache for home festered like an untreated wound. Until Liam, who kissed like redemption tasted sweet, who traced the scars on Jackson's soul with fingers calloused from saving lives. Now, in this sterile room that smelled of bleach and second chances, Jackson searched Liam's face. "My phone. Did anyone called your folks?" "Your dad answered." Sounded like he'd swallowed a lemon whole. Liam's jaw tightened, a flicker of anger in those green depths. "Told him you were banged up but breathing," he said. "Jesus, Jack." He said it was God's judgment. The words landed like shrapnel, ripping open the fresh scar of the crash. Jackson's chest heaved, tears blurring the four-pole into a silver blur. Judgment. For what? For loving you? For daring to feel something real in this godforsaken life? Liam cupped his face, rough palm against fevered skin. "Hey. Not God. Not your old man. You're the one who gets to judge your worth." He pressed a kiss to Jackson's forehead, lingering like a vow. "And you're worth every damn fight." Nurses bustled in then, charts and questions fracturing the moment. But Liam stayed, perched on the plastic chair like a sentinel, fielding calls from the station, sneaking contraband Jell-O cups when the docs weren't looking. By morning, the swelling in Jackson's eye had receded enough for discharge, ribs taped and prescriptions in hand. Liam drove him to his efficiency apartment on the east side, the city unfolding gray and damp under a sky promising more rain. Inside, the place was a testament to transience. Thrift store couch sagging under laundry piles, a half-dead ficus by the window surveying the brick wall view. Jackson eased onto the bed, every breath a reminder of fragility, while Liam rummaged in the kitchenette, emerging with mismatched mugs of instant coffee. "Talk to me," Liam said, settling beside him, thigh warm against Jackson's. "About the call. What did Harlan really say?" Jackson stared into the steam curling like ghosts. "That I brought it on myself. Running off. Living in sin. Said if I came crawling back, maybe he'd pray for forgiveness. But love? From them? Not. They said I didn't deserve it. Not after what I am." Liam's hand found his, interlacing fingers scarred from ropes and rings. "Bullshit. They don't get to decide that. And neither do you. Not anymore." He tilted Jackson's chin up, eyes locking like puzzle pieces. "I love you, Jack. Have for months. That crash? It wasn't judgment. It was a wake-up call. For both of us." The confession hung there, raw and radiant, pulling Jackson under like the sweetest current. He surged forward, ignoring the ribs' protest, capturing Liam's mouth in a kiss that tasted of salt and salvation. Hands roamed, tentative at first, then urgent, mapping familiar territories with renewed hunger. Shirts shed in a whisper of fabric, skin to skin under the threadbare quilt. They moved like men starved, bodies arching in a rhythm that drowned out the storm outside. Afterward, tangled and spent, Jackson traced the tattoo on Liam's chest, a phoenix rising from embers, inked after his brother's funeral. "What if they never come around?" he murmured, fear threading the afterglow. Liam's arm tightened around him. "Then we build our own family. You and me against the wind." But the wind howled louder than either imagined. 2 days later, as Jackson dozed through pain meds, His phone buzzed with a text from Clara. Dad's on his way. Says he needs to see you. Mom's a wreck. Please, Jack. Give him a chance. Heart pounding, Jackson showed Liam the screen. He'll ruin this. Us. Liam's face hardened, but his voice stayed steady. Let him come. I've faced worse than a pissed-off farmer. Harlan arrived at dusk. Truck rumbling to a halt outside like thunder on the horizon. He stormed up the stairs without knocking, filling the doorway with his bulk, 6'4" of flannel and fury, face weathered like old leather. Evelyn trailed behind, eyes red-rimmed, clutching a Tupperware of her apple pie like a peace offering. Jackson Hale Whitaker, Harlan boomed, voice echoing off the thin walls. What in the hell were you thinking, tearing up God's road like that, and calling this fireman instead of your blood? Jackson stood, ribs throbbing, Liam a solid presence at his shoulder. Dad. I didn't call anyone. Liam just saved your sorry hide. Liam cut in, stepping forward, chin lifted. While you were busy quoting scripture at a man half dead in a ditch. Harlan's eyes narrowed to slits, raking over Liam like he was measuring him for a coffin. And who the devil are you? Some drifter sniffing around my boy like he's stray cattle? Evelyn gasped, hand fluttering to her throat. Harlan, please. I'm Liam Riley, he said, voice level as a horizon. And I'm the man who loves your son. More than you ever did. From the sound of it, the room crackled, tension thick as summer humidity. Harlan's face purpled, fist clenching around his truck keys. Love? You call that love? Twisting him up in your filthy ways? Boy, you're poison. And I'll be damned if I let you drag him to hell with you. Jackson's blood ran cold, then hot. Get out. Both of you. I didn't ask for this visit, but Evelyn stepped forward, pie trembling in her grasp. Jack. Honey. We heard about the accident. Your father. He's scared. We all are. Just talk to us. Talk. As if words could bridge the chasm Harlan had carved. They sat, awkward on the sagging couch, pie untouched, while Harlan railed about sin and salvation, Evelyn interjecting pleas for unity. Liam held Jackson's hand under the armrest, a secret anchor, but the barbs landed deep, ungrateful. Abomination. Lost soul. By the time they left, the apartment felt tainted, echoes of judgment lingering like smoke. Jackson collapsed against Liam, tears hot on his neck. They'll never stop. It's in their bones. Liam held him fierce. Then we break the bones. Together, weeks blurred into a fragile routine. Jackson healing slow, picking up shifts at the auto shop where grease under nails drowned doubts. Liam pulling doubles at the station, sirens wailing like war cries. Their love deepened in stolen moments. Lazy Sundays with pancakes charred at the edges. Drives along the Mississippi where bluffs rose like defiant lovers. Nights where bodies spoke what words couldn't. But cracks spiderwebbed. Whispers at the shop. Heard your folks disowned you. Jackie. Tough break for a queer like you. And Clara's calls. Laced with guilt. Dad's drinking more. Says it's your fault. Come home. Fix this. Home. The word twisted like a knife. Jackson ached for the farmhouse. The swing on the porch where he'd carved his initials as a kid. The fields that sang of roots he couldn't sever. Liam saw it. The way Jackson's eyes drifted east at stoplights. And one night, over takeout lo mein on the fire escape, He said, "Go see them. On your terms. I'll drive you." "No." Jackson shoved the carton away, chopsticks clattering. "They'll just hurt me again." "Us." Liam's gaze softened, hand on his knee. "Hurt's part of loving, Jack. But so's healing. You deserve that. We both do." The drive to the farm took 4 hours, cornstalk sentinels bowing under a harvest moon. Jackson's stomach knotted tighter with each mile, Liam's radio humming low country tunes to ease the silence. They pulled up to the Whitaker spread at midnight, gravel crunching like bones under tires. The house loomed, porch light a hesitant beacon, curtains twitching like nervous breaths. Harlan met them at the door, shotgun propped casual against his shoulder. Not loaded, Jackson prayed, but the sight iced his veins. "Knew you'd slink back. Brought your paramour for show." Liam killed the engine, stepping out slow. "Easy, sir. We're here to talk, not fight." Inside, the kitchen smelled of coffee and regret, Evelyn hovering with fresh-baked bread. Clara was there too, toddler on her hip, eyes pleading. They gathered around the oak table scarred from decades of suppers, Harlan's Bible open like a gauntlet. "You want forgiveness?" Harlan growled, stabbing a finger at Jackson. "Renounce this life. Come back to God, to family." Jackson's throat burned. "Family? You threw me out for who I am. For loving like you love Mom. Fierce, real. Liam's my family now." Evelyn's sob broke the air. "We were wrong, Jack. Scared. But losing you, it's killing us." Harlan slammed the table, veins bulging. "Scared? Of hellfire? Of what the neighbors say? You're my blood, boy. But this," he jerked his chin at Liam. "This ain't right." Liam leaned forward, voice calm as a still lake. "With respect, Mr. Whitaker, love's not a choice. It's a fire. Burns hot, saves lives. I pulled Jack from that wreck because I couldn't imagine a world without him. That's right. That's real." The room stilled, Harlan's bluster faltering under the weight of truth. Clara nodded slow, toddler cooing in the hush. Evelyn reached for Jackson's hand, tentative. "Stay the night. Please." They did, bunking in Jackson's old room with its faded baseball posters and creaky twin bed. Spooned close, Liam whispered, "Proud of you," as moonlight slanted through the window. But dawn brought storm clouds, Harlan's temper brewing overnight. Breakfast was a battlefield, pancakes stacked like fortifications on chipped plates. Harlan picked at his, eyes drilling holes in Liam across the table. "Fireman, huh? Risk your neck for strangers. Noble. But chasing my son? That's just folly." Liam forked a bite, unflinching. "Not chasing. Loving. And Jack's no stranger. He's my whole damn world." Evelyn busied herself with syrup, cheeks flushed. "Harlan, enough. We've prayed on this. Pastor Ellis said." "Pastor Ellis is a fool," Harlan snapped, chair scraping as he stood, quoting Leviticus like it's gospel truth. "But what about the prodigal son? Or the woman at the well? Mercy, Evelyn. That's what we're called to." Jackson's fork froze midair, hope flickering fragile. Was this a crack in the armor? Clara bounced her boy on her knee, whispering, "See, Dad, they're good together. Like you and Mom." Harlan paced, boots thudding like heartbeats. Good? Tell that to the town. Old man Jenkins already jawing at the co-op about our wayward boy bringing shame. He stopped, shoulders slumping, the fight leaching out like air from a punctured tire. I raised you better, Jack. To honor, to toil the land. Not this wandering. Jackson rose, ribs a dull throb, closing the distance. You raised me to feel that, and I feel everything for this farm, for you, for Mom, for Liam. He swallowed hard, voice cracking. I never stopped being your son. The embrace, when it came, was awkward, Harlan's arms rigid at first, then crushing, the scent of pipe tobacco and earth enveloping Jackson like a time machine. Evelyn joined, a tear-streaked huddle, while Clara smiled soft from the sidelines. Liam hung back, green eyes shining with quiet victory. But peace, in the Whitaker house, was a guest that overstayed its welcome. Over the next days, Jackson lingering to mend fences both literal and figurative, tensions simmered. Harlan thawed by inches, a grudging nod at supper when Liam fixed the tractor's carburetor, a shared beer on the porch recounting a barn fire from '89. Evelyn baked Liam's favorite pecan pie, Texas style, and Clara dragged them to the county fair, where Jackson won a stuffed bear tossing rings, handing it to Liam with a wink that spoke volumes. Nights, in the attic guest room, they stole breaths between creaks. This feels like a dream, Jackson murmured one evening, head on Liam's chest, listening to the steady thrum beneath the Phoenix ink. Liam's fingers combed his hair. Dreams turn real if you fight for him. But your dad's still wrestling demons. Give him time. Time Jackson had, mending wire in the back 40, the sun baking his skin golden. But whispers from town crept in, via Clara's husband, Tom, who farmed adjacent. Folks at church are buzzing. Harlan Whitaker's boy and that out-of-towner? Tongues wagging like loose fence posts. Harlan heard them too, face darkening over morning coffee. They're saying I'm soft. Weak. For letting you stay. He jabbed a thumb at Liam, who was outside splitting logs. That man's trouble. Stirring pots he don't belong in. Dad, Jackson started, but Harlan cut him off. No. Listen. I love you, boy. More in breath. But this is poison to our name, to everything we've built. His voice dropped, laced with desperation. Leave him. Come home proper. Marry a girl from town. Give me grandkids that ain't twisted. The ultimatum landed like a gut punch, stealing Jackson's air. He stormed out, finding Liam by the woodpile, axe paused mid-swing, sweat gleaming on his torso. He wants me to choose. You or them. Liam lowered the axe, wiping his brow. And there's no choice. Jackson pulled him close, the scent of pine and sweat a balm. But it hurts. God, it hurts. They drove back to Des Moines that afternoon. Harlan's silence a wall at the door, Evelyn's hug a lifeline. The city swallowed them again, but the farm's pull lingered, a homesickness that gnawed at Jackson's edges. Work piled up. Overtime at the shop tuning engines that purred like contented cats, while Liam's shifts stretched into marathons. The station's alarm a siren's call. One crisp October evening, as leaves turned the streets to fire, Liam came home late, reeking of acrid smoke and something sharper, betrayal. He dropped his helmet on the counter, face ashen. Your dad called the chief. Jackson's stomach plummeted. What? Said I was a bad influence. Unstable. After that warehouse blaze last month. Near miss with a beam. I pulled through. But Harlan. He twisted it. Told him I drink on duty. Endanger lives. Chief pulled me for review. Rage boiled hot. That son of a, he wouldn't. But he had. The proof was in Liam's slumped shoulders. The way he avoided Jackson's eyes over takeout burgers. It's bullshit, Jack. I know. But the department. Their family too. If this sticks, I'm done. Guilt crashed over Jackson like a wave. This is my fault. Dragging you into the mess. Liam grabbed his hand. Fierce. No. This is fear. And we'll face it. Together. But together cracked under pressure. The investigation dragged interviews, polygraphs, while Jackson paced their apartment, phone silent from home. Clara texted apologies. Dad's spiraling. Says it's for your soul. Evelyn sent care packages. Socks. Jerky. A note pleading come alone. Nights turned restless. Love-making a desperate anchor. One dawn, as frost etched the window, Jackson woke to Liam's side empty. Panic surged. He found him on the fire escape, staring at the awakening city, cigarettes smoldering between fingers. Can't sleep, Jackson wrapped arms around him from behind. Liam exhaled smoke like a sigh. Thinking about Texas. The ranch I left. Simpler times. The words chilled deeper than the air. You want to go back? A pause. Endless. Not without you. But Jack. If this costs me everything, my job, my name, what's left? Us, Jackson whispered, but doubt seeded, a weed in the garden of their love. The betrayal deepened when Jackson confronted Harlan over the phone, voice shaking. You tried to ruin him. My Liam. Why? Harlan's reply was steel. To save you. From him. From yourself. You're blind. Boy. But I see clear. He's dragging you down. Dragging? He's lifting me, Jackson shouted. Tears hot. You don't know love if it bites you. Click. Dead air. The line went silent, but the wound festered. Winter barreled in, snow blanketing Des Moines in white lies of purity. Liam cleared the review, cleared, but scarred. Shifts lighter, trust frayed at the edges. Jackson threw himself into work. But the shop's holiday party brought booze and burdens. A coworker, buzzed and bold, cornering him by the punch bowl. Heard about your old man. Tough. But hey, if that fireboy bails, I swing both ways. Laughter masked the sting. But Liam, across the room nursing a soda, saw. That night, driving home through flurries, silence thick as fog. You okay? Jackson ventured. Liam's grip tightened on the wheel. That guy. He touch you? No. Just talk. Talk like that? In our world. Liam pulled over, engine idling rough. Jack, I love you. But this life. The stairs. The sabotage. It's wearing us thin. Panic clawed Jackson's throat. What are you saying? I'm saying we fight harder. Or we fold. Liam's eyes, stormy now, searched his. I can't lose you. But I can't watch you break either. They made love that night fierce and fragile, bodies battling the chill. But dawn brought a letter, Harlan's handwriting, scrawled on envelope, final warning. Come home alone, or lose us forever. Jackson burned it in the sink. Flames dancing like demons, but ashes lingered. Spring teased with thaws, but no melting in Harlan's heart. Jackson's birthday fell on a Saturday. Liam planning a surprise. A drive to the Bluffs. Picnic of ribs and ribs. Stories swapped over cheap wine. Laughter echoed off the rocks. Jackson's head on Liam's lap. Sky vast as forgiveness. "I'd do it all again," Liam said. Fingers in his hair. The crash. The calls. "You." Jackson smiled. But his phone buzzed. "Clara. Dad's sick. Heart scare. Come now." The farm was a blur of beeps and bandages. Harlan pale in the county hospital bed. Evelyn a ghost at his side. "He asked for you," she whispered. Before the pain hit, Jackson sat, Harlan's hand cold in his. "Boy," the old man rasped. "I was wrong. About the job. About him." Tears pricked. "Liam." A nod. "Weak. Saved you once. Maybe he can save me too. Tell him." "Sorry." Hope bloomed. Tentative. But as doctors wheeled Harlan to surgery, Jackson stepped out for air. Dialing Liam. No answer. Texts unanswered. Hours stretched. Surgery success announced. But Liam's silence screamed. He drove back to Des Moines frantic. Apartment dark. A note on the counter. Needed space. Texas calling. Love you always. Betrayal. Sharp as a blade. Liam gone. Truck tracks fresh in the snowmelt mud. Jackson sank to the floor. World crumbling. The man who'd saved him now the one who'd shattered. The apartment echoed with absence. Liam's hoodie draped over the chair like a shed skin. His cologne faint on the pillows. A ghost Jackson couldn't exorcise. Days bled into weeks. Jackson moving through motions at the shop. Torque wrenches twisting like his gut. Oil changes for cars that didn't stall on feelings. Customers chattered about spring planting, but his mind looped the note. The silence. Clara called daily. Dad's recovering. Asking about you. And Liam, her voice held hope, fragile as eggshell. Tell him Liam's gone. The words tasted like ash. Evelyn sent pies, cards with Bible verses underlined in pencil. Love bears all things, but Jackson let them mold on the counter. Sweetness soured. Nights. He drove the back roads where the crash had marked him. Radio blasting Springsteen anthems of broken highways and born-to-run hearts. Why? He screamed into the void one midnight, tires hydroplaning on rain-slick blacktop. No answer, just the wail of wind. Work became refuge, then ruin. Boss pulled him aside after a dropped socket clattered across the floor. Jackie, you're off. Eyes like you've seen the devil. Take a week. A week to what? Drown in whiskey at the corner bar, where neon buzzed Bud Light and regulars nursed grudges. He did. Shots burning paths to numbness. Until a face from the past slid onto the stool. Tommy. The farmhand from years back. Broader now. Married. But eyes lingering. Jack Whitaker. Heard you were queer as a $3 bill. Still causing trouble? Sarcasm masked hurt. What do you want? Tom. Tommy leaned in. Breathbeery. Your old man mentioned you. Said you're wasting away in the city. Come back. Farm needs hands. I need company. The offer hung. Laced with memory, that silo kiss. Fumbling and forbidden. Jackson recoiled. I'm not for hire. Tommy's laugh was low. Free sample, then. For old times, he fled, the bar's door banging like a judgment, driving home with hands shaking on the wheel. Liam's number stared from his phone. Voicemails left. Pleas and rages deleted unheard. Texas calling. What called louder than them? A package arrived mid-May. Brown paper crinkled. Postmark Austin. Inside, Liam's spare key. The Phoenix sketch he doodled on a napkin once. And a letter. Jack, I froze. Your dad's poison seeped in, made me doubt if I was enough. Texas was escape, not end. But running's my curse, brother's fire. Now this. I love you. Still. Come find me? Riley Ranch. Outside Waco. Coordinates attached. Heart hammering. Jackson packed a bag, jeans, flannel, the bear from the fair. The drive south was epic. Iowa flats giving way to Missouri hills. Then Oklahoma dust devils dancing like deranged spirits. Billboards preached Jesus saves and Whataburger ahead. A soundtrack of twangy radio and his own ragged breaths. Waco welcomed with heat haze and cattle calls. The Riley Ranch a sprawl of barbed wire and weathered barn under a sky bruised purple at dusk. Liam was on the porch, rocking chair creaking, a beer sweating in his fist. He looked. Hollowed, stubble silvering at the temples, green eyes wary as a cornered colt. Jack. The name was exhale, chair scraping as he stood. You left. Simple, accusatory. Liam's nod slow. Cowardice. After your dad. It echoed my own ghosts. Thought you'd be better off. Better. Jackson's voice broke, bag dropping to dust. Without you, I crashed once without warning. This wrecked me slow. Steps closed the gap. Hands clasping, rough, real. I'm sorry. God, Jack. Every mile here, I replayed us. The bluffs, the farm. You're my anchor. Lips met then. Salt of tears mingling. Bodies crashing together on the porch swing like waves reclaiming shore. Inside the ranch house, cool adobe walls. Scents of leather and sage. They shed clothes and cautions. Love a bonfire roaring back to life. Liam's touches mapped apologies. Jackson's whispers forged vows. Morning brought coffee black as regret. Porch swing swaying gentle. What now? Jackson asked, head on Liam's shoulder. Stay, Liam said. Help me fix this place. Brother left it to me, wild horses, untamed land. Like us, tempting. But Iowa tugged, a thorn in his heel. Dad's mending. Clara says he's asking questions. About us. Liam's jaw ticked. Go back. Face it. I'll come when you're ready. The return north was bittersweet, plains stretching like open palms. Des Moines greeted with rain. The apartment aired out, but Liam's absence echoed until Jackson's phone lit. Ranch is waiting. You too. Love. Harlan's recovery was a mending fence. Calls tentative, then warmer. Heard you drove clear to Texas. For that boy, a pause. Proud, son. Stubborn like your ma. Evelyn invited them for Memorial Day. Bring him. We'll set an extra plate. Jackson's heart soared. Texted Liam. Homecoming? On my way. The farm bustled. Flags waving lazy. Grill smoke curling skyward. Clara's kids chased fireflies early. Tom flipping burgers with a grin. Evelyn fussed over potato salad. But Harlan stood at the gate, hands in pockets, eyes on the horizon. Liam's truck rumbled up at noon, dust settling like applause. He stepped out in boots scuffed from ranch work, flannel crisp, bouquet of wildflowers clutched awkward. Jackson met him halfway, kiss brief but bold under the oak. Harlan approached slow, extending a hand. "Riley. Heard you saved my boy twice over." Liam shook, firm. "Just once. The rest, he's saving me." A grunt, almost a laugh. "Stubborn. Like Jack." He clapped Liam's shoulder, gesture heavy with unspoken absolution. "Welcome to the mess." The barbecue unfolded like a miracle. Stories swapped over ribs, Harlan recounting the crash with gruff admiration for Liam's quick hands. Evelyn quizzed on Texas recipes. Clara snapped photos, Liam with a toddler on his knee, Jackson's arm around his waist. Laughter rang, genuine, the kind that stitches wounds. But dusk brought shadows. As stars pricked the velvet sky, Harlan pulled Jackson aside by the barn, pipe glowing ember. "I was wrong. About you. About love." Smoke-curled confession. "Pastor came by. We talked. Said God's bigger than my fears." Jackson's throat tightened. "You mean it?" A nod. Eyes misty. "Bring him Sundays. Church or no. Your family. Always were." Relief crashed, hugging his father fierce under the moon. Back at the fire pit, Liam waited, question in his gaze. Jackson kissed him deep, world writing. He said yes. To us. The night deepened, family folding around them like a quilt, warm, worn, whole. Yet fate, that capricious bitch, had one more twist. June sweltered, and the call came at 2 a.m. Station dispatch. Liam's voice ragged on the line. "Jack. Fire at the warehouse district. Big one. Stay put." But Jackson couldn't. Dressed in haste, he drove through sirens' wail, heart pounding to the blaze's roar. Flames licked the sky orange, hoses arcing silver, firefighters' shadows in hell's glow. He parked blocks away, scanning for green eyes. Then chaos. A beam groaned, collapsed, screams piercing the din. Medics swarmed, stretchers hauling the fallen. Jackson pushed through, voice lost in the tumult, until a soot-streaked figure emerged. Liam, jacket torn, supporting a brother in arms. Relief buckled his knees. Liam, arms crushed, safe. But as embers cooled, whispers spread. The warehouse owner, a Harlan Whitaker supplier, fuming. That Riley kid? His fault. Faulty wiring from his last inspection. Lies, but potent. The department buzzed. Echoes of the past review. Liam's face, in the ER waiting room, was granite. Again. "Your dad." "No." Jackson fierce. "Coincidence." "We'll prove it." But Harlan's call confirmed dread. Towns talking. That fire, folks blaming the queer and his lover. Shame on us. Jack. Betrayal anew. Not Harlan's doing, but the poison he'd sown reaping bitter fruit. Liam pulled away gentle. "I can't. Not if it torches your family again." "Don't." Jackson clung. "Fight." The investigation loomed, shadows lengthening. Summer's heat pressed like a judgment, the warehouse fire's ashes smoldering in headlines. Arson suspected? Rookie inspector under scrutiny. Liam's name splashed in the local rag. Photo grainy hero turned suspect. The department sidelined him, desk duty shuffling papers while his crew battled blazes without him. Nights, he paced their apartment, fists clenched. It's sabotage. That owner, Jenkins, hates queers. Hates us. Jackson nodded, fury matching. We'll expose him, but exposure demanded digging, and Des Moines underbelly was clay-thick. Jackson enlisted Tom, Clara's husband, who knew the co-op gossip. Over beers at a roadside dive, Tom leaned in, voice low. Jenkins cut corners on that build. Bribed inspectors before. You're Liam? Just the scapegoat. Proof, emails, invoices, a paper trail buried in Jenkins' office. Jackson and Tom hatched a plan. Break in under moonless sky, Tom's farm truck idling blocks away. Heart hammering, Jackson slipped through shadows, lockpick trembling from a YouTube tutorial. Files rifled, their bribe logs, falsified reports. Alarms blared mid-grab, red lights pulsing. Jackson bolted, papers clutched, lungs burning as he dove into the truck. Go! Sirens chased, but they lost them in alley mazes. Adrenaline crashing into laughter at the farm's back silo. Ironic echo of youth. Tom slapped his back. You're Whitaker through and through. Ballsy. Harlan, woken by the rumble, met them on the porch, robe belted loose. What foolery is this? Jackson thrust the folder. Proof. Jenkins set Liam up. To hurt us. Harlan scanned pages. Face thunderous. That snake. Been cheating me on seed for years. He grabbed keys. We're going to the sheriff. Now. Dawn broke on confessions. Jenkins crumbling under fluorescent glare, spilling accomplices like loose change. Liam cleared by noon. Badge reinstated. Department barbecue planned in vindication. Harlan shook his hand there, under string lights and sizzling steaks. Oh, you, son. For Jack. For standing. Liam's grin crooked. Family does that. The air lightened, but Jackson felt the undercurrent. Harlan's eyes lingering, not with hate, but curiosity. A Sunday dinner invitation followed. Bring the pie. Evelyn insists. Church was tentative. Pews creaking under strangers' stares. Pastor Ellis's sermon on forgiveness as fire refined. Afterward, handshakes awkward, but a widow from the choir murmured to Liam, saw you at the blaze. My boy's a firefighter too. Thank you. Seeds planted. Back at the farm, meals became ritual. Evelyn's roasts, Harlan's tall tales of harvests past, Liam fitting like a glove worn soft. Jackson watched, chest full, love not just stolen, but shared. Yet romance simmered private, stolen kisses in the hayloft, where dust motes danced like fireflies, drives to the river, where they swam naked under stars, bodies slick and sure. Marry me, Liam whispered one twilight, ring simple, silver band etched with phoenix flames, pulled from pocket damp with nerves. Jackson's yes was a sob, sealing with salt and sunset. Wedding plans bloomed autumnal. Small, at the farm, oaks gold as vows. Clara as best woman, Tom officiating justice of the Peaceside gig. Evelyn sewed cummerbunds. Harlan carved the cake topper, two figures, backs turned to storm, hands clasped. But eve of doubt crept. Harlan pulled Liam aside by the barn, voices low. Jackson eavesdropped from shadows, heart in throat. "You sure about this?" Harlan rumbled. Town's still whispering. "My name carries weight." Liam steady. "Love him more than whispers. More than weight." A pause. Heavy. "Then you're good enough." "Better." Clap on shoulder. Gruff. "Welcome, son." Tears pricked as Jackson slipped away, wonder swelling. The ceremony was magic. October breeze rustling leaves like applause, isle of wildflowers trampled soft. Vows exchanged under the oak, Jackson's voice cracking on in sickness. In fire, Liam steady as anchor on till the stars burn out. Rings slid home, kiss sealing amid cheers. Clara's kids tossing petals like confetti dreams. Reception spilled into dusk, bonfire crackling, fiddles wailing bluegrass. Harlan's toast slurred sentimental. To family, blood or chosen, both unbreakable. Dancing followed, barefoot in grass. Liam's arms iron around Jackson's waist. World spinning sweet. "Happily ever?" Jackson teased. "Ever after," Liam murmured, nuzzling his neck. Honeymoon was the ranch. Waco's warmth wrapping them in lazy days. Horseback rides through scrub. Nights tangled on porch hammocks. Stars a canopy of promise. Liam's ghosts quieted. Jackson's roots reaching south. Return brought normalcy laced with joy. Joint shifts. Jackson wrenching at the station garage. Liam fighting flames with renewed fire. Harlan visited. Truck loaded with squash. Probing gentle about grandkids. Adopted. Maybe. Clara announced her third. Family swelling like yeast. Winter whispered contentment. Snow blanketing sins. But spring unearthed old bones. A letter from Austin. Liam's estranged aunt. Postmarked regret. Brothers will contested. Ranch in limbo. Fight? Liam's face shadowed over coffee. "It's home." "Our home." Jackson nodded. "Then we fight." Lawyers loomed. Depositions dredging pain. Brother's death. Accusations of favoritism. Opposing counsel sneered. Lifestyle choices taint judgment. Liam's jaw clenched, but Jackson's hand under table steadied. Harlan flew down. First time on a plane. Grumbling, testifying fierce. "That boy's solid. Saved my son. Built a life. Blood don't lie." Verdict. Ranch there's. Aunt's claims crumbling like dry creek beds. Victory barbecue at the farm. Mesquite smoke mingling with Iowa chill. Toasts to legacies reclaimed. But fate's hand, ever capricious, tightened. July heat wave sparked wildfires. Echoes of Texas past, raging toward Waco. Liam deployed. Crew choppering south. Jackson watching news with gut knotted. Days blurred. Blazes devouring acres. Smoke choking skies. Calls sporadic. Holding. "Love you." Then silence. Reports trickled. Collapse. Missing. Jackson drove south frantic. Harlan shotgun. Evelyn's rosary beads clicking prayers. Ranch arrived ash-edged. Evacuations emptying roads. Search teams comb char. Jackson's voice hoarse shouting Liam's name. Night fell. Stars obscured by haze. Huddled by embers, Harlan gripped his shoulder. "He'll come back." Fighters do. Dawn broke with miracle. Chopper thrum. Medevac landing. Liam stretchered out. Singed. Smoke inhaled. But breathing. Jack. Rasp weak. Hand-seeking. Tears rained as Jackson clung. Medics working. Idiot. Hero. Hospital vigil, tubes, beeps. Harlan pacing like a caged bull. Owe him everything. Recovery slow, lungs mending, scars blooming fresh. Jackson read to him Hemingway tales of men enduring, while Harlan brought brisket, stories of his own close calls. Discharge brought them home to the farm, Evelyn's room guest ready. Liam weak but willful, Jackson his shadow. One evening, as fireflies lit the yard, Harlan sat with them on the porch, pipe unlit. I was blind, he said, voice gravel. Thought love was straight lines, plows in furrows. But you too. You're the curve that saves the crop. Liam's smile faint. Means a lot, sir. Harlan, correction gruff. And call me Dad, the word hung, gift wrapped in grace. Summer waned. Liam strengthening walks to the creek, hands laced. Love deepened, tempered by fire, touches reverent, nights whispered gratitudes. Fall harvest golden, wedding anniversary under the oak, vows renewed casual, cake Evelyn's, kids giggling. But life's underbelly stirred, Jenkins, out on bail, letters venomous, you'll pay for ruining me. Threats escalated. Slashed tires, shadows at windows. Jackson bolstered locks. Liam taught self-defense, moves fluid, fierce. Climax brewed Thanksgiving. Family gathered, table groaning abundance. Laughter flowed, but post-feast, as pies cut, door burst, Jenkins, wild-eyed, shotgun leveled. Whitakers, paid my debts with your blood. Chaos erupted, screams, chairs toppling. Harlan lunged, wrestling the barrel. Clara herded kids to pantry. Jackson dove for Liam, shielding. Shot cracked, deafening. Jenkins crumpled. Harlan's old service revolver, hidden drawer, smoking in Tom's grip, backup call ignored in panic. Sirens wailed late. Jenkins cuffed. Harlan's arm grazed bloody. Medics stitched. Statements taken. Aftermath. Quiet reckoning. Harlan. Bandaged. To Liam. You jumped first. Saved us all. Liam shrugged. Pale. Family. Winter healed wounds physical. Emotional mended slower. Jenkins sentenced. Town tales twisting to triumph. Whitaker clan thwarts madman. Christmas under snow. Tree trimmed with phoenix ornaments. Gifts wrapped in forgiveness. Jackson and Liam. Ringed hands by hearth. Whispered futures. Ranch expansions. Adoptions dreamed. New Year dawned crisp. Resolutions unspoken. Love louder than lies. Yet humanity's arc bends slow. A church invite, full acceptance now. Pastor Ellis beaming. They went, hands clasped bold, hymns swelling around them. Life unfolded. Clara's baby born spring. Jackson uncle doting. Liam promoted captain. Jackson shop foreman. Anniversary 3rd. Road trip west. Grand Canyon vast as their story. Echoes of runs. Redemptions. Back home. Farm thriving. Harlan's health steady. Evelyn's garden bursting. One dusk. Jackson found Liam by the oak. Carving initials fresh. J and L entwined with H's flourish. Legacy, Liam said. Jackson kissed him slow. Ours. Years wove like barn swallows' nests. Sturdy. Seasonal. Full of fledglings. The ranch became dual anchor. Summers in Texas heat. Corralling horses that mirrored their wild starts. Winters Iowa bound. Snowshoeing fields where Jackson once dreamed escape. Harlan softened to silver. Stories his legacy. Pipe tales puffing wisdom. Love's the best crop. Hard to sow, but feeds forever. Evelyn past gentle. Autumn pneumonia stealing breath mid-laugh. Funeral quilted family tighter. Clara's tears. Tom's stoic toasts. Harlan's eulogy cracking on she taught mercy. Liam held Jackson through nights raw, whispering, she's with the stars now. Guiding. Grief's garden grew gratitude. Adoptions pursued. Paperwork a marathon. First came Eli. 6. Freckled towhead from foster churn. Eyes wide at the farm's expanse. This home? He asked. Hands small in Jackson's. Forever, Liam promised, teaching him to skip stones in the creek. Then Maya, toddler fierce with curls, claiming the ranch ponies as hers. Holidays swelled. Thanksgivings 30 strong. Christmases carols chaotic with tinny guitars. Conflicts lingered subtle. Town holdouts murmuring at co-op. Church fringes folding arms. But battles won outnumbered. A pride float in Des Moines. Rainbow flags on the farmhouse barn. Harlan's nod at the VFW when Liam spoke on inclusivity. Professionally, Climbs? Jackson's shop franchised. Grease Monkey Empire. Liam's battalion lauded. Medals pinned for blazes braved. Yet home-anchored dinners where Eli quizzed history. Maya finger-painted phoenixes. 10th anniversary. Vow renewal grandeur. Waco Chapel sun-dappled. Harlan officiating, ordained late life. Voice booming in the sight of God and good folks. Guests span states. Texas kin reconciled. Iowa neighbors toasting. Dance floor spun under lanterns. Jackson and Liam slow waltzing to Wonderful Tonight. World blurring soft. Midlife nudged. Liam's knee ached from old falls. Jackson's back twinged lifting crates. Dates turned porch swing simple. Wine from Evelyn's vines. Stars scripting stories. Crisis crested unexpected. Harlan's stroke. Spring storm raging. Hospital vigil echoed past. Beeps. Prayers. Family huddled. He rallied slow. Speech slurred but spirit sharp. Don't fuss. Got tales left untold. Rehab forged bonds. Liam pushing wheelchair laps. Jackson reading Zane Grey aloud. Recovery's gift. Harlan's memoir. Scribbled fierce. A farmer's reckoning. From fields to forgiveness. Published local. Bestseller in Heartland presses. Tales of a man bent by bias. Unbroken by love. Eli devoured it teenaged. Maya illustrated editions for school. Legacy rippled. Speaking gigs. Where Harlan came thumping. Declared. My boys taught me grace. Blood or bond. Love's the plow that turns soil. Passing came quiet. 86 winters deep. Bed surrounded. Grandkids' hands in his. Jackson and Liam flanking. Last words. Proud. All of you. Funeral packed the chapel. Eulogies weaving his arc. Stubborn saint. Sinner saved. Jackson spoke last. Voice steady. He said I didn't deserve love. But he was wrong. We all do. And he showed us how. Graveside. Under the oak transplanted sapling. Dirt soft as absolution. Aftermath bloomed. Farm trust to Clara. But weekends there's Eli college bound. Maya vet dreaming. Jackson and Liam. Silver threaded now. Traveled light. Yellowstone geysers steaming second chances. New Orleans jazz pulsing joys. One dawn. Grand Canyon rim again. Anniversary 30th. canyon yawning eternal. Liam, cane-assisted, pulled a box. Matching bands, etched deeper, saved by love. Renew? He asked, green eyes eternal. Always, Jackson breathed, sealing with dawn's kiss. Life's coda unfolded gentle. Retirement synced, hands idle but interlaced. Volunteer fires for Liam, shop mentoring for Jackson. Grandkids visited. Eli's wedding under Texas stars. Maya's full-birthed farmside. Elder years crept. Aches chronic, but adventures undimmed. RV jaunts to coasts, where waves whispered endure. Final chapter penned bedside. Liam first, cancer swift shadow. Hospice hummed soft. Jackson vigilant. Family orbiting. No regrets, Liam rasped. Fingers tracing Phoenix faded. You. Best blaze. Passing at equinox. Sun balanced. Jackson shattered then mended. Grief's forge tempering gold. Alone? No. Legacy lived. Eli's stories. Maya's clinic. Great-grand's laughter echoing. Jackson's turn came winter solstice. Snow blanketing gentle. Gathered round. He smiled faint. Tell him. Love wins. Always. Lights dimmed. But stars, oh. The stars burned brighter. In the end, not tragedy, but testament. A boy deemed undeserving, loved fierce into legend. Family, forged in fire, enduring eternal.